Hello again, friends, and thank you for joining me. I've got something a little bit special today. This is an on-demand review by David Marra. David asked me to provide my thoughts on this, and I thought, just sit down and do it. So he literally asked on Twitter a couple minutes ago, but because I'm doing this for David, I'm wearing my Chicago Bears jersey. His Lions are out of the playoffs, but my Bears are still in for now. So you guys aren't interested in that. What you are interested in is the whiskey that we're looking at. So this is the W.D. O'Connell Bill Phil Cask Strength. And speaking of Phil, this was provided to me by Phil of Causeway Coast Whiskey Reviews. So thank you, pal, for sending that my way. But I'm not going to go into all the background here, not least of all because there is already a superlative review of this on Malt, www.malt-review.com, which you can check out. But just to give you the specifics, this is from W.D. O'Connell. They have released this as a single cask, so this is the Cask Strength Edition. It's a heavily peated, triple distilled single malt from the Great Northern Distillery, and it has spent just over 4 years in ex-bourbon, first fill ex-bourbon casks. So comes to us at 59.6% ABV. And indeed, it's an interesting point to meditate on for a second here. What brought us this discussion is the fact that we were talking about there's this fixation on the part of a lot of consumers on age, and I think that that's been encouraged to some not insignificant degree by the Scottish malt industry. But when you think about all this amazing stuff that's coming out at a very young age from, in this country, Wilderness Trail, New Riff, Kentucky Peerless, abroad you've got Chichibu, if you've ever had a couple of their 3-year-old whiskeys, I mean, wow. And most recently that I've tried, Waterford, where you're getting incredible flavors, incredible balance, incredible depth, all those elements that we look for, and it doesn't have to be 10 or 15 or 20 years old. You're getting them at the age of 4 years, and I think that has more to do with what's going into the production process and the integrity of the raw materials on the front end, and then doing things the right way and not cutting corners. But with all that in mind, this is so you're getting a little bit of the peat here. You're getting some of those elements, but more generally, I guess getting a nice balance. So there's a salutary touch of smoke. It's certainly not overwhelming in the manner of like a Calila or a Laphroaig or something. Oh, speaking of which, look at the color of this thing, nice and pale. But again, if you've had a Calila or a Laphroaig that hasn't had caramel coloring added to it, you'll know that you can get a ton of really intense, really lovely flavors out of a whiskey that's this color. So again, just another thing where perception and reality sometimes diverge. But yeah, so there's a salutary touch of smoke, and there's also very subtle, you're getting that bourbon cask influence in the form of some vanilla there, but really this is anchored in that bready end of the spectrum, where I'm just getting like tons of great notes of like hot buttered toast and graham cracker. And then there's this whole other very pleasant overlay that's, I guess, very Irish to me, is that you're getting like a lot of like zesty citrus fruits, and you're getting a lot of like really pretty floral aromas, like a floral perfume almost. So I'm getting almost like a savory note too, like a miso broth almost, if that makes sense. But no, and the great thing about this is everything is balanced, everything is well integrated, it's harmonious. Everything is in the right proportions. They're all playing well with one another, at least aromatically here. So I'm excited to taste this. Yeah, and what I like about this is there were some very generous notes on the nose, but on the palate, just first impressions here is that you've got it's very elegant, it's very lean, it's very lithe, it's and this is interesting. So this is, as you guys know, I like to pick out this note and that note and this note and that note, but there are some whiskeys that just present themselves very total, and I respect that a lot, because it means that each of those elements is so harmoniously integrated and so well balanced against the rest of what's going on that they've really become hard to pick out. And I don't mean that in the sense of like being faint or not there, but so great kind of saline seaside note. Yeah, again, there's a tinge of kind of like piquant wood, and then there's like a smoky note. There's that vanilla from the bourbon cask again, and almost like they're braided or knit so tightly together that you really have to concentrate to pick them out. But throughout, this presents itself as just really like It's delicious. It's challenging. I mean, look, I wouldn't, in the way that I think a lot of Irish whiskeys are very approachable because of that fruitiness and that just like very cheery, kind of pleasant flavor. I wouldn't necessarily present this to a novice, but if you like, my favorite distiller in Islay is Kalila, and this I think has a lot in common with just again the elegance of that flavor profile. They released this. I guess there were 50 CL bottles, 370 of them, that were 140 euros per bottle. So. It's not cheap, but in terms of money for the price, I mean, it's certainly a lot cheaper than a Chichabu, and I think you're getting a lot here. So, yeah, lovely stuff. I'm not going to score this, but I will say I do like it very much. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to have tried it, and would recommend that you do so as well. So without belaboring this any further, there you go, David. Hope this makes you happy, and we'll see you guys next time. But again, to Phil for sharing this, and to all of you for lavishing your time and attention on me, I certainly do appreciate it. So cheers.